Hey everyone, it's December 13th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with German serial killer Carl Großman, known as the Berlin Butcher, who may have murdered as many as 50 victims beginning in 1913, and that is him right up there. Born in 1863, not much is known about Grossman's childhood, but he grew up in the Berlin area, and some reports say that his father was violent towards the family, often beating his wife in front of their children. As Grossman got older, he lacked impulse control and picked up numerous convictions for aberrant behavior, including 3 for child molestation. He was sentenced to 15 years behind bars for abusing a 4-year-old child who died from injuries sustained during the attack. Released early, he worked as a butcher, but rather than have a stable home, he preferred to live on the streets, occasionally spending the night with one of his frequent prostitute companions. When World War I broke out, most German men were drafted into the military, but his criminal record spared him, and he was determined to find a way to profit from the war. Grossman rented a room in a Berlin slum near the railway, and despite being loathed by his neighbors for his sour disposition, he paid his rent on time and his landlord let him be. His apartment had its own entrance, so other tenants of the building rarely saw him in person as he kept odd hours, often stumbling home with prostitutes in the early morning after spending all night drinking. Germany was under strict rationing for meat during the war, but as a butcher, Grossman was active in the trade and was doing quite well for himself. He peddled fresh meat in the street, but his buyers weren't getting the meat they were bargaining for. Grossman would bring home prostitutes or women he picked up at the train station who had just moved to the city seeking a new life. After sexually assaulting his victims, he would tie them up, kill them, and butcher them. He then sold their flesh to unsuspecting patrons in the street as pork or sausages, dumping any remains in a nearby river. That's gross, man. In 1921, his landlord heard a struggle coming from his room and sent for the police. When they arrived, they found a murdered woman in his kitchen and recovered a diary that detailed his disturbing behavior. From 1913 to 1921, he had killed at least 26 women in this fashion, but some evidence indicates that it may have been 50 or more. He was arrested and put on trial for murder and was convicted that same year. Grossman laughed in court when his death sentence was read, but he didn't wait for his sentence to be carried out. He hanged himself in his cell on July of 1921. Some believe that he had murdered famed Grand Duchess Anastasia after she escaped a firing squad in Russia, but there's no evidence to show that any of his victims were her, or even that she escaped for that matter. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Carl Großman I say, happy birthday, you bastard.